Hello, this is Cinema 4D Quick Tips, and today we will make a transformation device using random effector and MoExtrude deformer. First, let's create a swaying tube using random effector. Create a tube by clicking and holding on the cube icon and choosing tube from the pop-up palette. Go to the Object tab of the tube and increase the inner radius to 70 cm, the rotation segments to 100, the cap segments to 6, the height to 220 cm, and the height segments to 40. Create a random effector by clicking and holding on the plane icon and choosing Random from the pop-up palette. Make the random effector a child of the tube. Go to the Effector tab of the random effector, switch the random mode to Noise, and reduce the animation speed to 35. Go to the Parameter tab of the random effector and set the px, py, and pz properties to 20 cm. Go to the Deformer tab and switch the deformation property to Point. Go to the Fields tab, click and hold on the linear field and select the spherical field. And increase the field size to 120 cm so that the field affects most of the tube, but not its upper and lower parts. We will leave them stationary. Extend the timeline to 300 frames and press the play forwards button to test the animation. Stop the animation and go to the start of the timeline. Now let's make the top part of the device and animate it with the MoExtrude deformer. Create another tube, rename it to Top, go to the Object tab, set the outer radius to 120 cm, the inner radius to 0, the rotation segments to 100, the cap segments to 7, the height to 12 cm, and the height segments to 2. Create a MoExtrude deformer by clicking and holding on the cloner icon and choosing MoExtrude from the pop-up palette. And make the MoExtrude a child of the top. Go to the Object tab of the MoExtrude object and reduce the extrusion steps to 1. Select Top in the Object Manager and lift it so it is on top of the tube. This is easier to do in the front view of the viewport. Return to the perspective view of the viewport. Select MoExtrude in the Object Manager, go to the Transform tab and animate RB property. For this, make sure that the time slider is at frame 0. Click on the diamond to the left of the RB property to create the first T-frame. Then move the time slider to frame 300. Set the RB property to 1000 degrees and create the second T-frame. Go to the start of the timeline and press the play forwards button to test the animation. Stop the animation and go to the start of the timeline. To make the base part of the device, create a cylinder by clicking and holding on the cube icon and choosing Cylinder from the pop-up palette. Go to the Object tab, increase the radius to 120 cm, reduce the height to 10 cm, increase the rotation segments to 100, drag the cylinder under the tube in the front view of the viewport, and return to the perspective view. To add materials, open the Asset Browser by clicking on the Asset Browser logo. Search for gold. Drag and drop the metal gold clean material onto the top in the Object Manager. Drag and drop the same material onto the cylinder. Then search for water. And drag and drop the liquid water material onto the tube in the Object Manager. To add characters, search for male. Drag and drop some male character into the viewport. Then search for female. Drag and drop some female character into the viewport. Close the asset browser. Go to the front view of the viewport. Select and drag the characters down so that they stand on the base of the device. And return to the perspective view of the viewport. Now let's make the darkening in the tube and characters change during the animation. Make sure that the time slider is at frame 0. Double-click on the material tag of the tube in the Object Manager. Go to the Base Properties tab of the material. Go down to the Transmission section and click on the diamond to the left of the Weight property to create the first keyframe. Then move the time slider to frame 150, set the Weight property to 0, and create the second keyframe. After that, move the time slider to frame 300, set the Weight property to 1, and create the third keyframe. Move the time slider to frame 0, select the male character in the Object Manager, go to the Basic tab of the male character, switch the viewport visibility and renderer visibility to on, and click on the diamonds to the left of the viewport visibility and renderer visibility to create keyframes. Select the female character in the Object Manager, go to the Basic tab of the female character, switch the viewport visibility and renderer visibility to off, and click on the diamonds to the left of the viewport visibility and renderer visibility to create keyframes. Move the time slider to frame 150, select the male character, switch the viewport and renderer visibility to off, and create keyframes. Select the female character, switch the viewport and renderer visibility to on, and create keyframes. Go to the start of the timeline and test the animation. Now let's add the environment. Create a redshift dome light by opening the redshift menu, selecting lights, and clicking on the dome light. Go to the Object tab, open the Asset browser, search for HDRI, drag and drop some HDRI into the Texture property field of the dome light, and close the Asset browser. Adjust the HDRI and scene in the viewport. Finally, test the animation. It's okay. This is what we got after rendering. Thank you for your attention, subscribe to the channel and put your finger up.